Man, what we doing? Because I don't want to talk. I can't talk. I don't want to talk. We going batter for batter. We going dollar for dollar. We going chopper for chopper. We going diamond for diamond. Because y'all think they net.
NBA 4KT members are reacting in real time after Doughboy unleashed a brand new diss track aimed straight at NBA YoungBoy. And this situation is spiraling faster than anyone could have predicted. The new record has reignited tensions that were already burning white-hot beneath the surface. Sides are already being picked. Every single bar is being dissected. And the one question sitting on everyone's mind right now is whether this is merely the opening shot of something far bigger. What began as nothing more than an internet moment has now crossed a dangerous line into music, and that changes absolutely everything. In this breakdown, we're going to dissect the diss track word for word, trace the entire history behind this feud, dig into the reactions pouring out of YoungBoy's camp, and talk about what could be coming next. Because right now, this clash between two of the most loyal, most passionate fan bases in all of hip-hop is showing zero, and we mean zero signs of slowing down. Yo, what's good, fam? Before we dive into the chaos, let's get on the same page about exactly who these men are. Because the sheer weight of this situation won't fully hit you unless you understand what each of these artists represents in the culture. NBA YoungBoy, born Kentrell Deshaun Gaulden in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, stands as one of the most prolific and polarizing figures in modern hip-hop today. He clawed his way up from nothing, dropping mixtape after mixtape long before the mainstream ever noticed him. And by the time the industry finally caught on, he had already built a fan base so fiercely devoted that streaming numbers alone could never tell the full story. He is the founder and face of the Never Broke Again movement, which has since exploded into a full label and lifestyle brand operating under the 4KT banner. His supporters proudly call themselves the 4KT Gang, and they move with a loyalty that is nearly unmatched anywhere in the game right now. YoungBoy has piled up chart records, YouTube milestones, and certifications at a pace most artists spend their entire careers chasing and never catch. His catalog is massive, sprawling across albums, mixtapes, compilations, and collaborative projects. And in 2025 alone, he dropped a colossal project and simply kept going. He runs on his own clock, bows to no one, and carries a reputation for speaking his mind with zero filter, no matter the fallout. And that very trait is exactly what lit the fuse on everything that followed. Then there's Doughboy. Born in Cleveland, Ohio, Doughboy has spent years earning his name as a respected voice both in the streets and in hip-hop. His rise was raw, gritty, and undeniably real, built on authentic trap music and Cleveland street credibility that won him a loyal following long before the mainstream ever came calling. His connection to Future's Free Band's label pushed his profile to another level entirely, handing him both serious resources and a co-sign from one of the most powerful names Atlanta has ever produced. Doughboy is no background character in this story. He's an artist with his own catalog, his own lane, and his own name to defend. And when it comes to loyalty, his entire reputation rests on one simple truth. He shows up for his people, no exceptions. That single trait is exactly what dragged him straight into the center of this feud. Now let's rewind to where this all truly began, because the real origin of this beef is not where most people assume. The roots stretch back to early 2026, when NBA YoungBoy hit social media with a challenge that quickly turned into a full-blown declaration of dominance. YoungBoy posted on X, formerly Twitter, throwing out an open call for a song-for-song showdown against any rapper in the game. 15 tracks each, and whoever lost would never rap again. It was the kind of bold, reckless energy that YoungBoy's fans thrive on, and the very same energy his critics point to as proof he keeps stepping outside his lane. The post exploded instantly. Fans rushed to throw names into the ring, arguing over who could genuinely go head-to-head with YoungBoy, who had the catalog, who had the range, and who had a fan base strong enough to survive that kind of war. When someone floated Future's name as a possible opponent, YoungBoy's reaction was sharp enough to sting. His response to the idea that Future could even compete with him was blunt, dismissive, almost condescending, as though the comparison wasn't even worth entertaining on record. That alone was enough to thicken the tension in the air. For anyone needing context, Future, born in Atlanta, is Kentrell Gaulden, better known as YoungBoy, is one of the most influential figures hip-hop has seen in the last 15 years. He practically invented a lane for a melodic, drug-tinged trap sound that entire generations of artists have spent years chasing without ever capturing the original feeling. His free band's label has been a pipeline for real, legitimate talent, and his albums have consistently pushed the culture forward. The Real Me, his 10th solo studio album, which dropped on July 10th, 2026, was one of the most anticipated releases in recent memory. His first true solo project in 4 years, and a comeback his fans had been waiting on with serious expectations. So the timing of what YoungBoy did next was anything but accidental. It was surgical, even if YoungBoy later brushed it off as purely impulsive. But here's where things get real. The challenge was one thing. What came next was an entirely different animal. On the night of July 9th, bleeding into July 10th, 2026, YoungBoy hit his Instagram story and went on a full-blown rant. He called out a rapper who was set to drop an album the very next day and warned that person not to flop. He didn't name the artist directly in that first post, but the timing made it impossible to miss. Future was set to release his 10th solo studio album, The Real Me, on July 10th. His first solo project since 2022's I Never Liked You, and one of the most anticipated releases of his entire career. YoungBoy was aiming straight at that rollout, and he made no secret of it. He called out what he described as behind-the-scenes behavior, referenced personal slights, and made it brutally clear that whatever respect once existed between them was gone. Here's the real kicker, though. YoungBoy had already jumped on a live with Offset and appeared to cool down. He admitted he'd let his emotions get the better of him and offered something close to an apology. Fans thought it was over. Then within hours, he took it all back, went straight at Future by name again, tagged him directly in a post, and dropped an actual diss track called What the What, a record aimed squarely at Future that widened the target to the entire city of Atlanta, posting it with a caption disrespecting the whole city outright. He later claimed publicly that he never wanted real beef, that he only wanted to disrupt the rollout, but by then the damage was already done, and a diss track was out in the world with Future's name stamped all over it. Now here's where we have to talk about the person who stepped up before anyone else, because Future didn't respond on wax right away. But somebody in his camp wasn't willing to let the moment slide. Doughboy had been watching everything unfold just like the rest of us. And when YoungBoy left a disrespectful comment under a post showing Doughboy and Future together, taking a direct shot at him, Doughboy decided enough was enough. He went straight to his Instagram story and let it all out. Let me break it down for y'all. In a series of IG story videos that spread rapidly across every major hip-hop page, Doughboy made his position crystal clear. He challenged YoungBoy directly, telling him they could settle it right then and there, no internet back and forth required. He questioned whether YoungBoy would even show his face in America, suggested he only operated from positions of comfort and safety, and accused him of being all talk from behind a phone screen. He said he'd physically confront YoungBoy and made it plain he had zero fear of the 4KT leader. He said YoungBoy only pops out where he feels safe, that all he does is sit in the house yelling at his phone, and that the people around him might be scared. But he certainly wasn't. For millions of people watching, these videos weren't just a reaction. They were a statement of intent. And YoungBoy fired back almost immediately, posting his own video accepting the challenge, while repeating that the whole thing started because he simply wanted to disrupt Future's rollout and nothing more. But the back and forth between two grown men on Instagram stories can only go so far, because Doughboy then took the step that permanently changed the nature of this conflict. He went into the studio, recorded it, and uploaded the Come Here YoungBoy diss track directly to his YouTube channel, the Doughboy FBG channel, making the record official and placing it on a platform where it could be pulled up, replayed, shared, and dissected by every fan, reactor, and blogger in the game. This was no longer just a social media moment. This was a diss track, a piece of work that will sit in the historical archive of hip-hop beef indefinitely. Come Here is exactly what you'd expect from Doughboy in this moment. Direct, unflinching, and built around the central accusation that YoungBoy's bark is louder than his bite. The title itself is a callback to his own IG story videos, where he repeatedly told YoungBoy to come outside, to show his face, to stop hiding behind screens and security. That phrase, "come here," captures the entire thesis of Doughboy's argument in 2 words. He is not interested in a streaming war or a social media argument. He is asking YoungBoy to show up in the physical world and back up everything he has been saying from a safe distance. The record leans hard into the narrative that YoungBoy only operates from a distance, that he is most comfortable dissing people when he is far away and insulated. Doughboy positions himself as someone who moves in person, who has always been in the streets and who does not need a buffer between himself and a confrontation. Throughout the song, he draws a sharp contrast between what he sees as his own authentic presence and what he characterizes as YoungBoy's internet-first approach to conflict. The song addresses YoungBoy's habit of going on social media rants that do not lead to anything tangible, and it frames the entire rollout disruption move as cowardly interference rather than competitive dominance. The production carries the weight the subject matter demands. It is not a lighthearted record, not a clout grab dressed up as a diss. It sounds like something recorded from a place of genuine irritation, which is part of why it connected with listeners immediately. He makes clear throughout the record that defending Future is not the main point. The main point is calling out what he views as fraudulent behavior from someone with a massive platform who he believes does not back up the energy in real life. That framing is important because it shifts the target of the record from Future's honor specifically to YoungBoy's character broadly. It becomes less about the album rollout incident and more about a pattern of behavior that Doughboy says he has been observing. And by widening that lens, he invites anyone who has ever had doubts about YoungBoy's real-world credibility to co-sign what he is saying. The record hit immediately with listeners and content creators alike. Within hours of it going up on the YouTube channel, reaction videos were accumulating views at a rapid pace. Twitter threads were breaking down the bars line by line. TikTok pages dedicated to hip-hop news were pushing clips of the track to hundreds of thousands of followers. The comment sections on both Doughboy's YouTube upload and the reaction videos were flooded with debate between 4KT, supporters who believed YoungBoy would respond with something devastating, and free bands, followers who felt Doughboy had already said everything that needed to be said. It was the kind of engagement that the hip-hop internet generates when the combination of names and stakes is exactly right. And in this case, it was. Now, let's talk about what came out of YoungBoy's camp, because 4KT does not sit on the sideline when their leader is being addressed. NBA Herm, one of the most vocal affiliates in the Never Broke Again circle, responded publicly after Doughboy's escalation. A YouTube video documenting his reaction titled NBA. Herm responds to Doughboy threatening to slap YoungBoy for dissing Future surfaced and began circulating through the same channels that had already picked up Doughboy's original IG videos. NBA Herm has established himself over the years as someone who will show up on social media and in interviews to defend YoungBoy aggressively, and he did not break from that pattern here. His response signaled to the broader community that the 4KT camp was watching, that they were not going to let Doughboy's challenge go unacknowledged, and that they viewed the situation with the same seriousness the free band side was projecting. Who Gang D, another affiliate closely associated with YoungBoy's circle, also entered the conversation online, adding another layer of public noise to an already overcrowded news cycle. The involvement of camp members rather than YoungBoy himself is a dynamic that plays out in major hip-hop beefs more often than casual fans realize. It extends the conversation, keeps the topic trending, and allows the principal artist to observe the reaction before making their next calculated move. Doughboy's response to the backlash was predictable in the best way. He did not retreat. He did not soften the message. When clips of 4KT affiliates pushing back on his comments began circulating, Doughboy maintained his position without wavering. He remained active on social media, reinforcing the same points he had made in the original IG story videos and in the diss record itself. The message remained consistent. He made the record. It is out there, and if anyone in the 4KT camp wants to address him directly, he is not difficult to find. That posture kept the story alive and kept Doughboy trending in hip-hop conversations at a time when Future's album, The Real Me, was supposed to be dominating the discourse. In a very real sense, Doughboy managed to insert himself into the center of the conversation while simultaneously defending the person whose spotlight was being sabotaged. That is a difficult needle to thread, and the way he handled it only added to the attention the situation was receiving. Let me break down for y'all why rap beefs follow this exact pattern every single time. Because what is happening right now between YoungBoy and Doughboy is nothing new. It is a playbook that has run throughout the history of hip-hop with remarkable consistency. Beefs in rap almost always begin as subliminals or social media exchanges before they cross into music. And the moment they cross into music, the entire dynamic shifts. A tweet can be deleted, an Instagram post can be taken down. But a diss record, especially one uploaded to YouTube with a title that explicitly names the target, is a permanent artifact. It gets indexed, archived, pulled up in future interviews, referenced in documentaries, and cited in future beefs. This is why the transition from talking on the internet to dropping a song is always treated as a major escalation by fans and by the artists themselves. Think about the history here. The Drake and Kendrick Lamar conflict in 2024 showed a generation of fans what a full-blown diss war looks like at the highest level. Records released hours apart, each one raising the stakes. The internet treating every drop like a boxing round scored in real time. Podcasts dedicated entire episodes to breaking down individual bars. Streaming numbers became weapons in the argument over whose record hit harder. Content creators who had never covered hip-hop beef before pivoted their entire output to covering the rivalry because the audience demand was undeniable. The Lil Durk and NBA YoungBoy history carries years of simmering tension that periodically erupts in subliminals and direct shots on record. A back and forth with its own dedicated community of followers who track every line looking for coded disrespect. Even within YoungBoy's own orbit, the NLE Choppa situation produced a diss track, KO, from NLE the Great as recently as October 2025, and that record trended for days. These situations follow a rhythm that fans have become deeply familiar with, and part of what makes them so compelling is the uncertainty over when or whether the escalation will stop. Will the next record be angrier? Will someone's camp get involved physically? Will a third party take a side publicly and shift the momentum? Every diss record is both a move and a dare. Come Here is Doughboy's dare, and the entire 4KT universe is now deciding how to answer it. The public reaction to the record has been divided in the way every major hip-hop beef divides audiences, and the divisions have been sharp. YoungBoy's fan base, arguably the most passionate and protective in the genre, pushed back hard on Doughboy's credibility, questioning his standing to address their artist, and pointing out that he is an affiliate in this beef rather than its central figure. They emphasize that Future himself has not responded on wax and suggested that Doughboy is inserting himself into something that does not directly involve him at the level that would justify an official diss. They also pointed out that YoungBoy was living internationally and operating with distance from the situation, that the absence of an immediate response was strategy, not fear. In comment sections across every platform, 4KT supporters were unified in their confidence that when YoungBoy decides to respond, the record he drops will make Come Here look like a warm-up. Freeband supporters, on the other hand, celebrated Doughboy for doing exactly what loyalty requires, showing up publicly and unapologetically for his camp when disrespect was put on the table. They argued that YoungBoy opened the door by leaving disrespectful comments on Doughboy's post and had no right to expect silence in return. They pointed to Doughboy's Cleveland credentials and his track record as someone who has never been accused of faking his background. And they argued that his willingness to take the conversation to the studio level proved he was not just talking, and that Come Here was treated as a legitimate power move. Proof that the Freeband's family does not absorb disrespect without a response that has teeth. Neutral listeners with no particular investment in either side evaluated the diss on its merits as a record and largely found that Doughboy made his points clearly and effectively. The consensus among detached observers was that the record was solid. Not a classic diss in the way some of hip-hop's landmark shots have been, but a credible, well-executed statement that communicated exactly what it intended to communicate. Whether YoungBoy takes it seriously is another question. Content creators across YouTube and TikTok produced dozens of reaction videos within the first 24 hours, many of them racking up substantial view counts simply because the combination of names involved, YoungBoy, Future, Doughboy, 4KT, free bands, generates automatic traffic in the hip-hop media ecosystem. Hip-hop podcasts jumped on the story. Blogs that had been covering Future's album Rollout pivoted to covering the beef instead, which in an ironic way validated exactly what YoungBoy said he was trying to accomplish. Disrupting the narrative around the real me. Every platform found a way to frame the situation as a story worth covering. And that sustained attention is precisely what turns a beef into a cultural moment, rather than a one-day headline. The real question now, the one that nobody can answer with certainty, is what happens next. There are a few paths this situation can realistically take, and each of them carries its own implications for everyone involved. YoungBoy could drop a direct response to Doughboy on wax, expanding the beef into a full two-sided exchange that would dominate hip-hop coverage for weeks and give fans the back and forth they have been anticipating since Come Here landed. He has never been shy about putting records out, and has the output, the infrastructure, and the fan base to respond at a moment's notice with something that could shift the entire conversation. His track record in situations like this shows he is capable of turning around a record quickly when the motivation is there. And a personal attack from a free bands artist dropped officially on YouTube is exactly the kind of motivation that has triggered responses from him in the past. Alternatively, YoungBoy could choose to stay quiet on record while continuing to make noise on social media, a strategy that keeps his loyal base engaged without giving Doughboy the validation of an official musical response. This approach treats the diss as beneath the level of a formal reply while still communicating that the energy has been received. It is a strategy that requires discipline and confidence, both of which YoungBoy has demonstrated he possesses when the moment calls for it. Future himself could decide to enter the conversation musically, which would fundamentally change the scale of the conflict and introduce a whole new dimension this story has not yet reached. And then there is the wild card. Another member of the 4KT circle or another free bands artist could escalate in a direction that neither YoungBoy nor Doughboy intended, pulling the situation into territory that goes beyond what either camp anticipated when this started over a social media post about a rollout. Or the situation could gradually cool the way these things sometimes do. Camp members get tired. The next controversy replaces this one in the cycle, and both sides quietly move on while the records remain in the archive, cataloged as one more chapter in the long and unfinished story of NBA YoungBoy's complicated relationship with the industry around him. But here is what makes this one different from the typical fleeting internet beef. NBA YoungBoy is one of the most consistent traffic drivers in hip-hop. Regardless of what is happening in the news cycle, Doughboy has now put an official diss record in the world with YoungBoy's name in the title, uploaded to a verified YouTube channel under the Doughboy FBG handle with the free bands flag behind it. That record does not disappear. It does not get taken down in a moment of calm. It lives on the internet permanently. NBA Herm is already publicly reacting. Who Gang is in the conversation. The 4KT faithful are engaged and watching every post, every story, every interview for the slightest sign of what their leader is planning. At every level of the hip-hop food chain, from the major blogs down to the micro accounts on TikTok that post 15-second clips with millions of views, this is a developing story that has not come close to reaching its conclusion. At the end of the day, what you are watching unfold between NBA YoungBoy and Doughboy is a story about loyalty, ego, and the relentless economy of hip-hop attention. YoungBoy made a calculated move to disrupt Future's moment and underestimated how personally someone in that camp would take it. Doughboy stepped up, made it loud on social media, and then backed it up in the studio. And now the 4KT camp has been dragged into the response cycle. Whether they were looking for it or not, every bar, every Instagram story, every YouTube upload is a move in a chess match that is still very much in progress. So here's what we want to know. Does YoungBoy step up and answer this record himself, or does he let his camp keep doing the talking for him? Can Doughboy really back up the energy he's putting out? And is Future finally going to break his silence and say something on wax? Drop your take in the comments right now, and don't scroll past the video on screen because we are covering every single development in this story as it happens.